Hey, welcome to the second episode of A Trip to the Park. And it's a vidcast. I'm kind of experimenting with how I'm going to do this. Actually, going to the park would be nice, but I had to make do with what I had to make do with. I'm your host, Tatenda, and yeah, welcome. Hope you didn't miss the podcast too long. First episode was quite a dark one. I like to think that I'm a bright individual most times, but I must say, lately my trips to the park have been I can't say unpleasant because they've been transformative in the sense that, the first one got to think a lot about addiction, having found those needles. If you don't know the story, listen to the first episode. And the second time around going to the park, I wasn't alone, but I thought a lot about loneliness, or at least solitude, in the 21st century. Solitude. It kind of started with me thinking about how everything in nature, and it's spring, but everything in nature seems to be signaling you to reproduce, and it's spring, so obviously that's what literally everything in nature is doing right now. See seeds all over the place, birds puffed up, looking for other birds. And I found that very fascinating to watch. For almost every other creature in the world, there's a time and place for everything. And it's almost intuitive, right? Seasons change, and so does their biology, and it's clear what time it is. For humans, not so much. Everything happening in nature seems to be pulling us towards some sort of togetherness, a community of sorts. You hear birds singing or chirping or whatever, and you know that they're communicating. They're social creatures. They want to connect with other birds. And that really got me thinking. We are animals which aren't necessarily bound by our habits or our inclinations. We've actually set up a society in which we don't have to be with other people. And in fact, I've seen more and more the idea of one being happy alone be more promoted. Self-love. That's the idea, right? To love oneself. That brings on a lot of questions in my mind about what oneself actually is. That you should love it and be content with just it. And the more I thought about it, lying on the grass in the park with my friends in silence, the more I thought to myself, I don't know how well I'd be able to define myself without them, without all the people that I interact with on a day-to-day basis, good or bad, people I like and people I don't like. It's very difficult because it's a lot of what I would say is me has been reactionary, has been a reaction, positive or negative, to what someone else has done. Or to what someone else has inspired me to become. But then again, it's not that easy being alone. There's too many thoughts. Too many thoughts cloud your head when you're alone. And categorizing them is very difficult. That's probably because we consume so much information on a day-to-day basis. We consume so much information. All the thoughts become so crowded. And it's not in a fun way. It's not like they keep you company. It's like being in the subway. Yeah, I know. Either you relate with what I'm saying right now, or you think, hey, maybe this guy is losing it a little bit. I feel like either option works for me. But anyway, that was just me reflecting on another trip to the park. Bye.